Good morning, everyone. Grant, would you lead us in prayer, please?
Heavenly Father, we want to take this moment to pause and thank you for all we have on a daily basis. We pray as always for situations that exist worldwide, that you'll protect citizens and our military, keep them safe. We continue to ask your blessings as we go about our daily lives, that you'll continue to watch over and care for the decisions that are made. Lead, guide, and protect us and forgive us for sins. In Christ's name.
Amen. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Lance, would you do the roll call, please?
Commissioner Harville.
Here.
Commissioner Pitts.
Here.
Commissioner Miller.
Here.
Commissioner Toller.
Here.
Commissioner Gould.
Having quorum, I'll call the meeting to order. First thing on the agenda is approval of minutes from, is that our last regular meeting?
Yes.
Our last regular board meeting. Everybody had a chance to look at those.
Did that take it from you? August 13th was the date.
Any additions or deletions? Can I get a motion to approve? Second.
Commissioner Harville.
Yes.
Commissioner Pitts.
Yes.
Commissioner Miller.
Yes.
Commissioner Toller.
Yes.
Commissioner Gould.
Public comments. Okay. Go on, committee reports. Anyone?
Well, actually, we haven't had a meeting yet. We already had it earlier in the month, but we are having a hoop meeting next week. I'll tell you about the following week.
Building permits?
Yeah, we got three. The first one is parcel number 013500-537. It's for the shop building. It's previously subdivided, no floodplain, recommended for approval. The next one is property 070405-171 is for a house previously subdivided, no floodplain, recommended for approval. The third one is parcel 043602-909-4. It's for some cabins, no subdivision, no floodplain, recommended for approval.
While we're looking at those, do you have anything to add or say, or is your great work?
Well, I mean, just pretty busy doing repairs, road repairs, oil and chip right now. We're coming along pretty well with that.
Imagine that oil lays down pretty good, isn't it?
Yeah, it actually, a little cooler would be better, so it would set up a little quicker.
I don't.
Issues.
Any questions or discussion on building permits? I get a motion to approve.
Make motion approved.
I'll second.
Commissioner Harville,
Yes.
Commissioner Pitts,
Yes.
Commissioner Miller,
Yes.
Commissioner Toller,
Yes.
Commissioner Gould.
Under old business, again, still on here, the ordinance regarding animals pursuant to 510 Illinois CS 5/1. Obviously, we don't have that. I would like to have that, again, tabled, and I do want to specify that, and I will follow through with it with the state's attorney, that this gets off here next meeting, period. New business, approval of payment of bills. Everybody had a chance to look at the bills? Any questions? No. Say
Commissioner Harville,
Yes.
Commissioner Pitts,
Yes.
Commissioner Miller,
Yes.
Commissioner Toller,
Yes.
Commissioner Gould.
Regarding bills, Angie?
Yes, so, per our, accounts payable policy, you commissioners have granted me the authority to approve our bills, as long as they are within budget. So once you set the budget, if the office holder is within budget, it shows up on your bill report, I approve them, and then you guys get a list and you approve them. Under the court system, they are over, or they're not over budget, they are at budget. We budgeted them $90,000 this year for legal expenses, and they have hit $90,000 right now. So currently I have 8 invoices that they have submitted that total $5,212.50 that I am holding because I don't have the authority to sign them without the board approving these invoices to be paid. So I did go have a meeting with Judge Edmonds with regards to the fact that they were over their budget. It didn't have a whole lot to offer as to why, but did say that we used to use a gentleman out of Dongola to do our fitness evaluations to make sure someone's fit for court. That gentleman retired, and he used to charge $400 for the fitness evaluation, and now the only person around that does them is charging $1,000. So that's a $600, increase every time we have to do a fitness evaluation. And his other thought of why that they have gone over by so much this year is that they are also getting through a backlog of cases that were backlogged last year from COVID-19. So the more cases they're having, the more lawyers they're having to hire, which is causing the expenses to go up. So if they continue at the current rate that the bills have been coming into for the last 8.5 months, then they were projected to spend $127,000 this year on a $90,000 budget. So you're talking about an extra $37,000 that they would need eventually through a budget amendment. You don't have to do it all at once. You can approve these if you'd like to today, and you can do a budget amendment next period for whatever amount you want to, and then I can approve them up to that amount. And again, then I'd have to stop and bring them back in here. So it's up to you gentlemen how you want to handle it, but I have invoices here.
I personally suggest that we go ahead and approve these bills to be paid. They've got to be paid. Next meeting, we'll put on the agenda a budget amendment and discuss that and see where we want to go with it or continue in this form. I don't know what everybody else thinks. I mean, we don't have a choice but to pay these people, but that's my suggestion. Any of the rest of you got any comments?
I agree.
I make a motion that we approve payment of the bills we have now for the court system to be paid. And again, put on the agenda next meeting a discussion of the budget amendment for the court system.
Is there an amount?
$5,212.50.
5,200, but
$12.50.
Commissioner Harville,
Yes.
Commissioner Pitts,
Yes.
Commissioner Miller,
Yes.
Commissioner Toller,
Yes.
Commissioner Gould.
Next item on the agenda is a resolution appointing commissioners of Alto Pass Water District. It has been sent to us to reappoint 4 people to this water district board. I'm not going to read the resolution, but Larry Hale for a term expiring May 1st, 2023. Carlos Gurley for a term expiring May 6th, 2024. Rick Lingle for a term expiring May 2nd, 2022. And Paul Gallop, I can't say it very well, for a term expiring May 5th, 2025. I make a motion to reappoint these 4 gentlemen to the Alto Pass Water District. Second.
Commissioner Harville,
Yes.
Commissioner Pitts, Commissioner Miller, Commissioner Toller,
Yes.
Commissioner Gould.
Yes.
Next item on the agenda is Hope Trust participating employer information verification form. If I understand this right, this is something we have to do in order to get new bids from them.
In order to get our new rates. You do this annually to select what plans you want to offer the employees. Last year we changed, last year or the year before last, COVID messes me up. You added a second plan. So my recommendation for this year would be to stick with the same 2 plans we're offering. They seem to be working for our employees. It's the 2,500 plan and then the 4,000 high deductible plan.
Any questions or discussion? I make a motion to approve the Hope Trust participating employer information verification form as is.
Commissioner Harville,
Yes.
Commissioner Pitts,
Yes.
Commissioner Miller,
Yes.
Commissioner Toller,
Yes.
The Illinois Municipal Retirement Fund. This is a housekeeping deal too. It applies to basically everybody with the commissioners. Circuit clerk, county coroner, Union County sheriff, state's attorney, and Union County treasurer. Any questions about this at all? Do you have anything to add to that, Andy?
No, you're just allowing them to continue to participate in IMRF.
I make a motion, we approve the resolution relating to participation by elected officials in the Illinois Municipal Retirement Fund. Second.
Commissioner Harville,
Yes.
Commissioner Pitts,
Yes.
Commissioner Miller,
Yes.
Commissioner Toller,
Yes.
Commissioner Gould.
Next item is proclamation Constitution Week 2021. We were approached a few weeks ago about this.
That's why I'm here.
Right. You want to?
Yeah, well, if I can enlighten people. Constitutional Week is something that was founded by the Daughters of the American Revolution. This year is the 65th anniversary of the event. They're planning on a big deal starting the week of September 17th. Several activities on Friday, September 17th at Lincoln Memorial Park. They're having a big ceremony starting at 5:30, and I'll go through the itinerary of that in a second. Then Saturday, September 18th at the Anna Art Center, they've got guest speakers coming in for the morning from SIU School of Law. I've scattered some of these around for you to look at. And then on Sunday, the Past House is happening. We're having an open house at the Heritage House there in Jonesboro, and presentation is being made. Daryl, last month he came for the Jonesboro Board talking about tourism. So this is something that we'd like to continue yearly, trying to get more people into town. So we're trying to advertise this big, get lots of people involved, and try and get more people into the county for tourism. On September 17th, that's the Friday, Ceremony begins at 5:30 p.m. Be a welcome speech, presentation of colors by Boy Scout Troop 44 from Anna. National anthem, trying to get one of our local singers to sing national anthem. Pledge of Allegiance led by the Girl Scouts. Prayer from Sons of the American Revolution by myself. Patriotic song. Speaker on the Constitution, Dr. Larry Peterson from SIU, the patriotic song, and then a bell ringing. Sons of the American Revolution's got a big bell, they're gonna ring it and encourage everybody to bring a bell or noisemaker. And that's nationwide on the 17th, they're gonna ring bells in celebration of the Constitution. 21 gun salute with cannon combination by Sons of the American Revolution. Got special permission from the Forest Service to bring the cannon back up to the park and fire the cannon and do a 21 gun salute up there for that. Benediction by the DAR chaplain, retire the color by the Boy Scouts, and then refreshments afterwards. So what we're asking is for you to sign a declaration declaring the week. Same thing has been asked of all the mayors in the county to sign it. I'd like to get a picture of you guys together, maybe holding the certificate if you choose to sign it. I can get it to Jeff. We're going to get him an article to run in the papers and things like that also. So if you'd be so inclined as to sign the resolution, and I can get a picture of it, maybe Jeff can get a picture, we appreciate it.
I see no problem with it. I think this is a great idea. It's, I think, comes at a time that this is needed pretty much all over the country. Proclamation, basically, I'll read it, states, whereas September 17th, 2021 marks the 234th anniversary of the drafting of the Constitution of the United States of America by the Constitution Convention, and whereas it is fitting and proper to officially recognize the patriotic celebrations which will commemorate the occasion, and whereas Public Law 915 guarantees the issuing of the proclamation each year by the President of the United States of America, designating September 17th-23 as Constitution Week. Therefore, I, Max Miller, Chairman, Board of Union County, I do hereby proclaim September 17th through 23rd, 2021 to be Constitution Week. We wholeheartedly back this, and I think it's a great thing.
Could I inconvenience you by asking you to stand up and just gather together for a photo?
Want a motion to approve that?
Yeah, that's why I meant to say that was a motion.
Okay.
Yeah, second.
Commissioner Harville?
Yes.
Commissioner Pitts?
Yes.
Commissioner Miller?
Yes.
Commissioner Toller?
Yes.
Commissioner Gould?
And everyone, what he was referring to there, you have a copy of the itinerary along with the printed flyer on the Constitution Week, so gives the full itinerary and so forth, so. Yeah, we can stop and quickly do that.
Yeah, please, thank you. Sorry to inconvenience you.
Jeff's brought his camera there too.
Very good. Thank you. Next item is another proclamation. National Rail Safety Week. Just briefly, the 1,889 rail crossing collisions resulted in 678 personal injuries. and responsible for 201 fatalities in the United States during 2020. This is just proclaiming this again and making everyone aware of rail crossings and safety. Anybody have any questions or comments about it? Therefore, I, Max Miller, Union County Board Chairman, do hereby attest my full support for claiming September 20th to 26th National Rail Safety Week, and encourage all citizens to recognize the importance of rail safety education. Make that in the form of a motion. Second.
Commissioner Harville?
Yes.
Commissioner Pitts?
Yes.
Commissioner Miller?
Yes.
Commissioner Toller?
Yes.
Commissioner Gould?
Next item G, approval of fiscal recovery funds use. I think you're here to maybe discuss that a little bit.
Yes, I am. I'm Bill Abernathy. I'm representing AJ Water Commission. And our County Shawnee Professional Services is their engineer. So
Speak up, Billy.
Yeah. So I'm here to discuss a few projects they have and to see if there is some funding available to the Water Commission. They, the two projects that I listed and I forwarded on to Angie were number one was a 5 exposed water mains on their mains that serve Anna, Jonesboro, Lick Creek. And they're pretty bad shape. Some of them you can see from the road down off of the airport road down at the bridge over Dutch Creek. There's another one down by the water plant or the sewage plant in Jonesboro on their main 14-inch line that serves both Anna and Jonesboro. The other one is, there's another one along Airport Road where the pipe is within just a couple of feet washing out of a creek bank as well. The fourth one is on the 12-inch main. It's over off of Berryville Road. That one actually may be deferred till sometime in the future because there's also some ongoing plans to replace that entire line. And the fifth one serves Choate Mental Health. It's up off of the Fruitvale section area. So that's the first project, and it's about a $327,000 project to replace and repair all of those. We do have funding in place from the USDA for $150,000 of that. We were able to get a grant from them, leaves about a $177,000 gap on that project alone. The other project is a new well. We're in the process of designing that for them now. The issues they're having is, I'm not familiar you all are with how they get their water, but it's all wells. There's 4 of them down in the bottoms, down here, Creek Levee Road. The other is there by the plant. 4 of those down in the bottoms are alluvial wells. They're only about 80 to 90 feet deep, so they're very subject to surface water and flooding. So the water quality in those is very poor most of the time, a lot of iron in it, which is hard to treat. And those are very high flow wells, about 600 to 700 gallons a minute. The one up by the plant, well number 5, is a deep well. It's 260 to 270 feet deep, but it's a low flow well, about 250 gallons per minute. So the way the plant works right now, the way they get their raw water is they usually run one well from the bottoms and then the low flow well up at the top, so they can have a little better quality water coming into the plant. It's easier to treat that way when they blend it. But they're still spending a fortune on chemicals just because of the iron in the wells coming up from the bottoms. The other issue is if there ever is an issue with that raw water main, and let's say it ruptures, they don't have enough capacity there at the plant to serve them. So pretty important we get them another well if they're by the plant, so they can continue to serve water if there is some type of disaster with that main. Thirdly, Anna especially and Lick Creek are showing large increases in water use. Most year added to the system over the next 2 years as they grow. Lick Creek is pulling more water because they've had some issues with capacity that AJ Water is going to have to supply. So that's the reason they need a new well, is it's going to give them some redundancy and also going to help supply better water and reduce costs for treatment. And also help supply for this growth that we're seeing around here. That project alone, I don't have an exact figure on it. I had it in the write-up at 250,000. We're working on the estimates right now, but we expect to be in that 225 to 250,000 range. And as far as what we're requesting, I'm not even sure what's appropriate. We're happy to get whatever you guys would offer. So, if you want to fund the whole project, we're game for it. If you want to fund just a portion of it, whatever you guys can fit in your budget, we're going to be happy with. So.
Well, I think these are all worthwhile projects, absolutely, just speaking for myself, but right now, the physical recovery funds, it's kind of a crapshoot on knowing what the hell we can spend them on. I think we just got to, your USDA grant, if that qualifies on matching funds with federal funds, we just really don't know at this point. And I think that's something that you need to check on also.
Yeah, we will.
With the grant. And I think for the time being, we're going to have to table this and come up with some more answers. Hopefully there'll be good answers. I mean, it's just a crapshoot right now on what these funds can be used for.
Can I make a suggestion?
Yeah.
Have you approached the Southern Five Planning Commission?
Yeah, we actually have our own grant department at our office. So we work closely with Southern Five and a lot of these planning districts. So yes, we've been working with Leanne Denny at USDA Rural Development, Illinois EPA, and trying to find grant funding. That's how we got the 150,000 for the exposures.
I'm on that committee. In the next meeting I go to, I'll bring that up for you.
Okay.
But it's, in answer to that, I mean, he can get all the grants he can get. It's whether we can use these funds on those grants.
No, but this is a separate.
Well, I know, but I mean,
Yeah, and what I would, and I'll have Kelly Groner, our grant administrator, take a look at that and look at what these rules are, and I'll maybe get her in touch with Angie and talk about it.
yeah, we need to know that before we can move forward on any of these funds, because, I mean, it's just, you can imagine dealing with the federal government. It's
We do every day.
it's a mess. It's a mess.
I have a question for you, Billy. One of the things that they just answered and put out in there for water and sewer, non-exclusive or not inclusive or whatever, but do these projects qualify under the EPA's Clean Water State Revolving Fund?
Yes, they do.
Okay, because that's one of the things that says if they qualify under that, then they will qualify to use this money as long as a grant doesn't preclude from using the money.
Yeah. So, speaking of funding on the well, it is 0% funded right now. The Water Commission is planning to get a short-term loan through one of the local banks for that. It was planned to be rolled into a USDA loan, but if we can get some money through the county, we can shelve that.
Well, I think all of us are in agreement to help what we can. I mean, it's just, again, we don't want to get audited 2 years from now and say we owe the federal government $850,000. I mean,
keep track of this money. We can do that in office and administrative as well. So,
But if it's all right with you, we'll just table this and
Yeah, definitely.
maybe next meeting, we can put it back on the agenda and, have some answers.
When are they looking to start these?
So the well, they're probably both gonna be spring construction.
Okay.
So.
So we have a little time.
Yeah. The exposures, they're both actually both projects are in design right now, approvals to go through. And then also with the exposures, we'll have to send those up to the USDA engineer for approval as well. So I mean, the well's probably gonna go quicker than the exposures though. So we might be able to get them in sometime this fall.
Billy, what's the city of Anna and Jonesboro doing? Because, I mean, with the AJ Water Commission, are they adding money to the total also?
As of right now, no, they're not. They're not. Yeah, I've got which they both have people on board of AJ Water. Lord Bedler's is the Anna representative, and Doug Edwards represents Jonesboro. So we're gonna have some discussions with them over the next month or so too, to chip in.
All right, we'll look at it and hopefully come up with an answer before too long. Again, I think it's a worthwhile project. We just gotta, we already looked at some projects and found out now we can't use the money for that. I mean, it's crazy. But,
Well, there's other projects too, so if you
Wow.
have trouble.
Yeah.
Finding where to spend your personal water, hey, let us know.
we got plenty around here.
So Max, can I talk about a couple of the other ones?
Yeah.
Okay, so another one, a project that has been brought before us is the scanning of our records in both the circuit clerk's office and the county clerk's office, in order to get those records online, so in case of a future pandemic, or just to have less people coming to the courthouse, you don't have to come here, you can go online, you can pull the information that you need without coming here. Again, because this thing is, the rules are so vague of what you can do, I'm gonna read you the part that I believe this would qualify under. Obviously, it's up to you guys if you agree that it qualifies. It says, state, local, and tribal governments have also supported major effects to prevent COVID-19 spread through safety measures at key settings like public facilities. And then it says, this includes implementing infection prevention measures. So in order to stop the spread of the COVID-19 virus, we want less people coming in, we put our records online. So that's where the other counties and everything are saying this part fits under. So the circuit clerk's office, we have an estimate for what it would cost to index all their records online. This does not include our case files from the late 1800s and back. So the estimate for that is $261,000, and that would get all of it online. That looks like the way they're going. And then for Lance's office to scan those records, the estimate is approximately $376,000 to get all of his records. And Lance, do you want to?
Yeah.
Is that your?
Yeah, so they've actually
What
got,
kind of records?
well, it's land records and all the vitals records. So of course, all the land records and every vital record, which is marriage, death, and birth certificates as well. On top of that, it puts all of that backed up, and able to be there. They will index it and everything, which that's the bulk of the work, is matching it to where the image to the index. The good thing about my office doing that is that we can make money on those images then by having them online. We already are doing that as of now. So that puts them all there and indexed. It's, I know of, well, Fiddler is heading this project up. They've already signed on. I've got how many counties already are doing this and got in line, county clerks, and it digitizes that whole vault. It backs it up where, God forbid, ever as well, on top of if we have to shut down, people can still access those land records or whatever other records to keep the pace going, a business and land transactions and stuff like that. But it also backs all that up where if, God forbid, you ever had a fire, tornado, something like that, we still have our records. So, it's quite a bit, but at the same time, it's very, very big, deal. After that, we would be done. It's a good one-time project type of move. And I don't know if we'll ever recoup that kind of money out of it, but at the same time, we will have all those records to be available for, everybody to obtain, and we do collect money on those when we do that. So a little bit of return, I'm not gonna tell you we're gonna get all that back, but again, it's not really out of our budget, it's from the federal, but it is something that would be a revenue stream as well, so.
I think, we can start putting some stuff on the agenda for this type of thing. I personally, reading the rules and listening to Andy's interpretation, we've got the money to do all this, so that way we don't have to spend it out of our own pocket in a few years.
Well, like I said, I know of other counties that are doing it as well, and they've had all their people look at it.
It sounds like to me it qualifies. I mean, they may turn around 2 years from now and tell us it didn't qualify. Who knows?
We won't be alone if it does,
Yeah,
so.
exactly. But I think those are some worthwhile things to look at, and we will pursue these here in the upcoming future as far as on the budget improving this and so forth.
So another item that we have, that's been requested is from Grant at the ambulance department. If you remember right, when we had our CARES funding, that one of the things that we purchased were some Lucas devices. I will let Grant tell you what the Lucas device does, but we are requesting one additional unit so that all of our ambulances have this Lucas device on it. Right now we have 3.
Yes.
And so we need one for our 4th ambulance. They are approximately $15,000. Do you want to describe to them what a Lucas device does?
Lucas has been an addition that we hadn't seen in years past. It involves when we have a cardiac arrest patient, they can deploy this in about 30 seconds or so, and it will perform rhythmic CPR, which is basically perfect CPR, which is the best chance of survival for a patient. Protocols read now that most of these types of patients that we mitigate this in the field one way or the other. It is also free of hands so that other things can go on. With respect to the COVID protocols right now, there are some things that we are not doing under a doctor's order, but we are working towards hopefully getting that change down the road. The device is all ready. I can tell you, since we've had these in the past 8 or 10 months now, we do have a listed save from this. It is well received in the industry. These are going up and you're finding them in services everywhere now. So it also makes it possible sometimes. We used to send 2 crews to handle a patient at that. The acuity of the patient, Lance can remember easily that we used to send 2 trucks and 4 people. We're finding now that since Lucas is in place, that sometimes we only have to send 1 crew because IV fluids can be started, the proper medications can be given because Lucas is taking care of the brunt of the work. So great tool to have. It's already paid for itself for a gentleman on I-57. And we are hoping that we can put it in the 4 trucks so that it's available all the time. We're not moving one unit from there to another truck. So.
And the reason this qualifies for the COVID is because it keeps our employees from having to get down in the face of the people that need help while they're giving CPR. So they can put the device on it, they can back up, they don't have to be right down in the face of someone who may have COVID.
Well, I think, again, fortunately, we'll see, but there's a lot of things that we can use this money on in your department that already qualifies, that will free up money that we've appropriated or can appropriate to other departments. So it's going to be a touch and go thing to figure out how to go around the circle and get everybody happy.
I'm also working on some other things to do with the things that we can't do right now, according to our position, but there is an answer to that as well, that I found out since I talked to Angie earlier in the week. So I'm looking into that right now.
We may use your department quite a bit. So,
So I just have one more thing to add, and I just want so that everyone understands why this is so hard. So they give you specific examples of what you can use the money fund for, and then they put in terms like this that says the interim final rule also provides the flexibility for the recipient to use funds from the fiscal recovery funds for programs and services that are not identified on these non-exclusive lists but fall under the terms of responding to the COVID-19 public health emergency. So they're telling you right there, we've given you a list, it is non-exclusive, and you can use it for other stuff that's not on the list. So it makes it very complicated to figure out what you can use it for.
But the way I understand it, there has been finally some exact questions answered.
Yes,
On this, that counties were asking.
there has
the
been.
city That it can be used for, which alludes to that statement, and they're saying that it can't be used for.
Yeah.
So figured.
Matt,
Yes.
I've got something I'd like to bring up that I know it's exactly eligible for, if you don't mind. I'll read it right out of here if you don't mind. Treasury encourages recipients to prioritize providing retrospective premium pay where possible, recognizing that many essential workers have not yet received additional compensation for work conducted over the course of many months. As in the Sheriff's Office, Highway Department, and Grant's crew are all essential workers. We all had to work during the pandemic. We all, departments here in the courthouse, they were furloughed, they were paid their salaries, and they were paid unemployment. And we worked the whole time. I think we all deserve extra pay out of these monies that you guys got in this grant. And I ask you to take a good hard look at your employees here and see what you can come up with. I believe Williamson County is paying for people like $20,000 each out of this. Also out of this, it's rated at $13 an hour up to $25,000 a piece for these essential workers. If you could take a look at that for me, please, I'd appreciate it.
We can do that. Just so you know, that's already been looked at a little bit. We've got a lot of planning and talking about to do on all of this, so but definitely take that into
Because I know the Sheriff's Office, and the ambulance, and the highway, we work hard for you guys.
I know that we do that every day, and we appreciate it,
Thank you.
but we'll definitely put that in consideration. Okay?
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Anything else, Angie, on this item?
No, I don't know of anything else that's on this item. Going to what he's saying, he's exactly right. You can pay him up to $13 an hour, additional wages, maximum of $25,000 per eligible worker. The tricky part is the premium pay doesn't have to always be for our people. You can give premium pay for the people that work at the hospital, the people that work at Southern Seven, the people that administer the vaccinations. You have to decide who are the essential workers within our county in order to give premium pay to. So it does say for employees that, for telework, they are not eligible for it if they were doing telework. I know some of our employees, had some time off, so I'm not sure if they would qualify, and actually that includes the highway department too, because they furloughed like the rest of the office. Sheriff's Department did not, ambulance department did not.
I was gonna say as well on that, when Lee and I did go to the bank and set up a separate account, which we closed a lot of accounts a long time ago, but we did open an account just for this fund.
Right.
We thought that that'd be good just to keep it separate from everything else. So that is a new account that we did create, just to let everybody know. So as well, just to make sure that these funds are separate from everything else, which we could have done, but by, you know, putting them in separate funds, but we carried a whole different account just for this, so.
All right, a lot to look at, guys, coming up, so just keep that in mind, so. Anything else? I think we want to go into executive session to discuss pending litigation.
May I make a motion? Okay. Commissioner Harville,
Yes.
Commissioner Pitts,
Yes.
Commissioner Miller,
Yes.
Commissioner Kohler,
Yes.
Commissioner Gould.
Yes. Take a short break.